If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Or you don't go to Indianapolis. Indianapolis comes to Baltimore. They're winless. Neither one of you guys were around a few years ago. The Baltimore Ravens lost to a winless Miami Dolphins team. Came in, Camp Cameron was the coach of the Miami Dolphins that year. The Ravens went down to Miami, and it was embarrassing, needless to say. I would assume that, look, we all know it's the next game on the schedule. What's the next game you guys plan to win? But you know that there is a little bit of a, you lose this one. It's not like getting off and everybody says, that was a bit of a letdown. You're never hearing the end of it. You lose to a winless team.
Yeah, I mean the plan is to win every Sunday. You know, that's the plan. And but you know, when you're faced against a wounded animal and their backs are up against the door, I mean nobody wants to go down in history as an 0-16 team.
Sure.
So it's those teams that go out and they fight the hardest. It's not the team that's 8-8, that's 500, that you know they're not going to go to playoffs or whatever. It's the team that's fighting just for pride, just to win one game. They're the ones that come out the hardest. So, and we know that. So we're going to come out. We're going to be ready. We're going to prepare for them just like we prepare for every other team that we go against. And we're definitely going to bring home a W. 10 is the most important thing in our little small bubble right now. It's just getting that 10.
Pernell, you ever thought about that? You know, the way the draft worked out, you could have ended up in Baltimore and playing to go to 10-3, or you could have ended up in a place like Indianapolis where you don't have a victory on the season right now. Has it ever struck you sort of how fortunate it was the way you ended up?
No, not really. I mean, I was kind of happy, and I was very blessed for the end up in Baltimore because this kind of defense I like to play in, and I wouldn't never want to be on a 0-10 team, 0-12 team. So, I mean, I'm a winner, and I feel like if me being on a losing team, I'd probably be going crazy right now.
You handle it well? I mean, you're the type of guy that you handle the success and the difficulties the same way, or you just you can't talk to me if the team loses? I remember Ray was like that Ray Lewis as a young player. You couldn't talk to him after a loss. I mean, it was beside himself. But he said, got older, understands. How do you handle the differences in winning and losing?
I mean, I feel like if you're a winner and you're very competitive, you wouldn't want to talk after a loss anyways, because I'm like that, but I don't mind holding a conversation with someone. So, I mean, after a loss, I treat it as a win, you know, try to stay very humble about the situation and, you know, try to go correct it the next day in practice.
Now, Pernell, I want to share something with you. Everyone, how do we feel about the Indianapolis Colts in this town? You're fully aware of the Pittsburgh Steelers rivalry now after playing them twice, but Indianapolis in this town, the history, of course, the Colts used to play in Baltimore, and the Colts, despite being winless this year, the Ravens have not defeated them in 10 years. So everyone out here tonight, everyone's going to be watching on Sunday. They want you guys not just to win, but to completely roll over those guys from Indianapolis.
I mean, we're gonna go in with a good game plan, but we just like we know everybody else should know. I mean, that's an NFL team. They're gonna come play their hearts out. They ain't gonna come lay down to the Baltimore Ravens or nobody. It's just the NFL. You know, you're gonna get the best team.
Now, when you're preparing for a team like that, clearly they've struggled this year. From a preparation standpoint, when you're watching film, do you put in any extra work just trying to look for certain things that, hey, this might be something that they might be able to do? They haven't had a lot of success, but we need to watch out for this. Is it a situation where you want to protect against them trying something, catching you off guard, that you try to just put in a little extra film work even?
Yeah, see, that's the scary thing. They 0-12, so they have nothing to lose.
Right.
So they might come out shooting all type of bullets, and, you know, we have to be prepared for whatever they got coming. So that's the must. Go in the film room and watch more film.
But yeah, you played against some of these guys in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about the fact this is the Colts we're talking about. Before the season, this is one of the biggest games of the NFL year on the schedule. It's kind of wild to think about this team being in this place right now.
Yeah, you know, when you go back to August and you look at the schedule, and there's a few games I talked earlier in the year here at High Tops about games that are, you know, marked in red pen. You know, the Jets is going to be marked in red pen, San Francisco game, and the 2 Pittsburgh games, and Cincinnati, and this was one of those games, you know, you mark in a red pen, okay, this is going to be a high-profile game, it's going to be a tough game, and then, you know, the whole Peyton Manning thing happened, and now, you know, the Colts are 0-12, but there's a reason why the Colts have been so successful against the Ravens. They play real fast football. People don't realize that the Colts, they're a small football team, but they're one of the fastest football teams in the league. Now you go to the Ravens, we're not necessarily the fastest team, we're one of the big, strong, more powerful teams in the league, so that creates a matchup, you know, speed versus strength and power, and you know anything could happen. So that's why it's been tough for the Ravens to play against the Colts. Now, can we just go out there and bully them and take their hearts from them early? I think that's going to have to be what we're going to have to do, and take their confidence away from them and get them thinking like, okay, here we go again. Then the second you do that, it's going to be a good game for us. But if you let them hang in there, let them play fast, and you give them hope, then they think, okay, we got a chance. And you look what they did against against New England, and what they did against Pittsburgh. They took both of those teams very deep and gave them fits. So we don't want one of those types of games where we let them hang around and let them think they're alive. We want to go out there and knock them out in the first quarter.
Before I turn things over to Nestor, I got to ask you about the Ray Rice onesie that you were tweeting out about today.
Yeah, what was that?
Explain this to me.
I mean, just we do little jokes about each other. So we got a wall in our training room that has pictures. You know, like Sizzle tweeted a picture of me today,
right?
And that was on the wall. It's been there for 4 years. The fourth season that picture's been on the wall, so it wasn't a big deal. But somebody decided to bring a little baby onesie and a little baby swim set with little blow up arms and a little life vest, and it's all like baby size because you know Ray's really small.
Correct.
Ray Rice we're talking about. So that's been in the locker room for a few weeks, and every time I see it, I really crack up. So I just decided to share it with you guys, and you know, it's just one of the things. You know, guys are playing jokes on Ray Rice, but you know, next week it might be me or it might be somebody else. You never know. But you gotta. One thing you have to do is we love each other, but we also make fun of each other. So you gotta have skin like an armadillo if you're a Raven. You can't have skin like a baby rabbit. You know what I'm saying? Like those rabbits that they be chasing out in the muck. You gotta have skin like an armadillo.
You ever actually shot a rabbit in your life?
No, they don't shoot them. They chase them.
Oh, they
catch them with their hands. You shoot a rabbit.
No.
He catches a rabbit with his bare hands. Like Rocky be chasing chickens. It's like a 280-pound man catching a nimble little rabbit.
That's why he's so good getting after the quarterback.
Right. He chase rabbits. It's easy to get quarterbacks. Before I let you go, Pernell, you got any dirt on BA for me? This is important. Because he comes out here every week and he's always just like, look at me, I'm BA, I'm good looking, I'm a veteran. Nobody ever says anything bad about me. You got to have something you can give me on BA before you roll out of here.
It's nothing I can do.
No.
We'll talk about the White Calvins if you want.
The White Calvins?
Yeah.
I'm interested. Wow, this must be good.
Nah, I ain't got nothing to say about BA.
Oh.
That's my boy.
Oh, wow. Is that because he's a rookie? He's afraid you're going to get in trouble?
It's that veteran Jedi mind power, you know what I'm saying?
All right, give it up for Pernell McPhee.
Not say bad things about me.
2 sacks yesterday, so no pressure. We just expect you to have 3 next week.
Yeah, I mean, I told somebody I'm trying to have 5 in the next 2 games, and I'm going to go in and get 2 this game, and you know, I'm going to try to go get 3 this game. Well, I might
that sounds good, man.
Stats, baby.
That sounds good. I'm calling in the McPhee. The shirts will be available soon. This is Monday Night Live at High Tops. It's brought to you by the Baltimore.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.